welcome to Epynt in Mid Wales for the second round of the 2012 Britpart MSA British Cross Country Championship. A deluge in the night meant for a particularly wet first few laps, but the glorious Welsh sunshine soon dried out the course, and that's when things started to get interesting. The course was a last-minute replacement after problems securing the original venue at Nestcliff, but the British Cross Country Championship organisers did the competition proud with a heady mix of cross-country, forest tracks and fast Cat 1 sections. We're anticipating a challenging and exciting weekend of competition. After round one, Richard Kershaw leading the championship from Ian Rochelle with Ryan Cooke in third place. The trophy led by Alan Thomas from Adam Bridgman and Mark Jakes, and in the Freelander it's Alistair Moore-Myers from Nick Lines and Selwyn Kendrick. After a convincing performance in round one, coming second overall, Keith Wild struggled to make progress at this round. His times were consistent and not far behind the number 205 bowler Wildcat of Andrew Chester. But having taken maximums on laps 2 and 7, this forced him down the leaderboard, finishing in 5th place overall.
So how are you finding the weekend so far?
Yeah, it's very enjoyable. A bit wet the first few laps, but it's dried out as the day's gone yesterday, and it's very enjoyable now. We get some good laps of times in now.
Has there been any problems with the car so far?
No, touch wood, we've been okay.
Adam Bridgman found himself in a similar position to Keith Wild in the Britpart Trophy. After finishing second overall in round one, Adam failed to recreate his performance, and with a maximum being taken in the second round, never really recovered and finished 4th overall.
It's going really well. We had a couple of mishaps. We rolled it on the second lap yesterday. We managed to recover and get going. Picked up a puncture last lap yesterday, but other than that, she's going pretty well.
Is there anywhere on the track you find it particularly tricky?
Yeah, the bit, well, funny enough, where we picked the puncture up, there's a very sharp rock, and as you come down and go into it, it seems to be everybody's picking the same puncture up on the front right.
So other than that, is the car holding up well?
Yeah, we got the main bearing between the prop shafts sort of starting to go, so we packed that full of grease again and nursing it a bit. But other than that, she's good as gold.
Alan Thomas continued his good run in the trophy class. Alan came first with a lead of over 9 minutes at the first meeting. Along with his co-driver Barry Marshall, they put in convincing times throughout the weekend, but they and many other drivers found themselves struggling with a particularly sharp hairpin on the course, losing valuable seconds, and they ended the day second position in class.
Try out with the hairpin, right? Hold the power. Up to the 90 left onto the track. 90 left onto the grass, onto the gateway. 90 right through the gateway. And straight down to the gateway.
The Freelander Challenge also produced some drama as the 102 machine, Harry Sherrard and navigator Ivor Heading, came off course in run 2 in a quite spectacular fashion and drove down a steep 40-foot hill and rolled at the bottom. Both men were shaken up by the incident, but thankfully uninjured.
Actually, so we came around, just carried a bit too much speed, got a bit sideways. Initially thought I'd held it, but then just spun basically and came forward. Then the
front wheel just caught the edge, not by much. I mean, we had slowed down, we caught the edge and over she went. We didn't actually roll down the bank, we drove down the bank effectively, drove down it, and then once we got to the bottom, wheel stuck in, and then we rolled. We only rolled once from the wheels back onto our wheels again. We're fine, we're a bit shaken, both got a slight headache, but other than that, not too bad. Certainly the biggest accident either of us have ever had. But I think looking at the car down there, it probably looks slightly worse than it is. As I said, we drove down the bank and then rolled once, so you know the location of the car makes it look slightly more dramatic than the accident actually was.
Harry and Ivor sat out the rest of day 1 to get the car fixed, returned on day 2 windshieldless, but ended up retiring on run 14.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. I mean, obviously with no windscreen, there's two problems. First of all, you get a lot of wind noise on the intercom, so it's hard to talk to each other, but also you're getting a lot of mud splashed on you. Every time I wipe my goggles, it just went all smeary, so it made it even worse. So I think I need to carry a damp cloth with me, but other than those little learning points, I didn't think the first run went too badly. So yeah, we're certainly looking at completing the event.
After finishing in the top 6 in meeting 1, Justin Birchall struggled with a persistent problem that impeded his chances of a high-ranking finish this time. When the Peugeot 206 was working, he was setting some race-winning times, but having to take maximums in runs 4, 9 and 10, he had to admit defeat and then retire in run 11. But expect to see Justin, along with co-driver Louise Birchall, back in the next meeting, and all being well with the car, it'll be a serious contender and looking for a top spot in the next round.
So how are you finding the track this weekend?
Track's it's a short track, but it's a good track. Dried out. Saturday was wet. There's a lot of water, which absolutely drowned us. But that certainly got out the way quick enough. Yeah, a good mixture of everything in it. But, yeah, quite good so far.
Car faring up quite well?
No, unfortunately I've had to retire. So I've got trailing arm issues, which are plunging on my drive shaft. So it's smashing a drive shaft every time. So I'm out at the moment.
Other people have been suffering through punches as well this weekend.
I've had 2, which is again because as soon as I lose the drive shaft, it takes me out on the back end and start hitting the rocks, which you normally wouldn't hit. So I've been fortunate. 2 punches I've only had.
So you'll be back out for the next one then?
Yeah, definitely straight back out.
Okay, we'll look forward to seeing you then.
Cheers, thank you.
After failing to finish all the runs and retiring in run 8 at the first meeting, Kevin Cruz returned in his distinctive Maserati live axle. Kevin, along with many other drivers, having particular trouble with the tricky hairpin, and his times, although fairly consistent, weren't good enough, and he finished down in 18th place.
Enjoying the track now. A bit worried about it at the beginning, but yeah, it's settled out now, and it's good. It's fast. It's good fun. A few little problems in terms of engine issues. We're having some stall problems, which is probably pulling our times down a bit. We're not necessarily getting clean laps, but yeah, could do without the mud. Nice and wet, but other than that, no, it's great. We're having a good time.
Is there anywhere on the track that you're finding particularly tricky?
Oh well, I mean that hairpin at the onto the right onto the Cat 1 track is a bit of a pig. We're only just starting to get that right now, I think.
Yeah, it seems everyone's having a bit of trouble with that one.
Oh yeah, that is a tricky corner. There is a right way to do it, but it's getting it right every single time. time it, every lap, and that's the difficult bit.
And if you get it wrong, there's quite a big drop down the other
We've
side.
been over. We went over the edge. We did an Italian job on one lap with it teetering, and it was a bit worrying. But fortunately, it went back the right way.
After day one, the clubman's results: Chris Bird leading from Mark Hones, Toby Jefferson and Wendy Hollenby in third, ahead of Andrew Chester. The Freelanders, Chris Ratter and Anthony Harris ahead of Philip Gillespie and Matt O'Hare, with Selwyn Kendrick and Elaine Heading in third place from Nick Lyons and Keith Tween. Trophy results: Paul Harris from Alan Thomas, Mark Jakes in third position, and the overall positions on day one: Richard Kershaw leading from Ian Rochelle, Ryan Cooke in third from Mike Moran, then Paul Myers and Tom Hipkiss. Join us after the break for more action from the British Cross Country Championship here at Epynt.
Welcome to another episode of Racing No Filter. Joining me in sunny California, Bill Wood, and down in sunny Florida, Peter Keene.
We're going to take a look at some of the products HPD has created for the 2012 Honda Civic, and specifically we're going to show you how to install an adjustable sway bar.
Until then, folks out there, you take care.
Want to keep up with all the racing action at the track? Well, download the new GoRacingTV iPhone and Android app. And remember to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Welcome back to the second day of racing in the Britpart MSA British Cross Country Championship. The weather continued to be sunny and warm, but the racing on the wet surface in day one had exposed some large rocks on the course, and punctures were the scourge of the day. But that didn't seem to slow down most of these drivers, and they gave some of the most exciting racing that we've seen so far in the competition. Victory in the clubman's class did not come easy for Chris Bird. He fought a close race with overall second placeman Mark Hones, but as the weekend progressed, Chris edged ahead, taking first position with just over a single minute between the two of them. Paul Harris made up for an unconvincing performance in our first meeting, having to retire after run 5. Meeting 2 was a different story here at Epynt. He posted the best time in nearly every run. The distinctive air intakes on his GSR Maxi Light helping him produce the power on the fast Cat 1 sections, and with the nimble frame he was near enough unbeatable in the trophy class, one to watch out for in this competition.
So she's quite suited to the Easter eggs, is she?
Yes, being an independent, it's riding the rough stuff fairly well, and then across the rally bit, it's quite fast along there.
After the drama of day one, the second day for the Freelander Challenge was superb. Conditions slightly more favourable than round one. It was Chris Ratter who came out on top, a non-starter of course in round one. But with those problems behind him, he was consistently fastest on each run, winning by a clear 14 minutes ahead of Nick Lyons.
Well, last time we had quite a few technical issues, just electronic problems, but it's been very good. You know, we've had no major issues at all.
Anywhere on the track you find him particularly tricky?
Not really, we just have to watch out on the rough bits to avoid punctures. Some of the other drivers have had a few punctures. Nick's had 4 punctures, I think, so far this weekend. We've had 1 puncture where I missed a big rock, but you know, it happens, and it's not bad. You know, and the cars are doing really well.
The competition in the Britpart Championship was close, and Tom Hipkiss and co-driver Rich Hipkiss proved their worth after putting in a much more convincing display than round 1, where they finished 11th. This is only the 2nd time he's raced in the new Peugeot GSR 206 this season, and it seems he's bedding in nicely, finishing 6th overall.
Very good. We've had a few good runs, a few small problems with the car overheating, but all in all it's been a great weekend. We're starting to get to grips with the car now, being it's only my 2nd event with it because we changed car for this season. So yeah, I had 1 puncher, so we've managed to keep it quite tidy so far.
So I'm guessing with this car you've got quite a bit of speed up on those gravel tracks.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not 100% sure what speed we're doing to the speed I was playing up, but I would say probably 80-90 mile an hour, I would have thought. So yeah, it's quite a fast course.
5th place in the competition went to Mike Moran and Nigel Jenkins, the pair slightly improving on 7th position from the first meeting. Mike and Nigel's AT 4x4 Challenger consistently quick on the rough terrain here, and he came home first in class. Paul Myers improved his overall position of 12th from the first meeting to come 4th in this one. After losing 4-wheel drive in the first round, that cost him places. The Land Rover 100 was back in fine working order and handled the increasingly bumpy course with aplomb. His co-driver now explains.
So how are you finding the course this weekend?
That's a great course. It's drying out, it's getting really quick. Got our times down now to about 6 minutes. Started off about 6.5. So having some great fun, some good bumps and some great bits of track.
Is there anywhere on the track that you find particularly difficult?
I think over the first bit where we go through the cut and through the tank traps, those are pretty bumpy and it's getting a bit sore on the backside.
Ryan Cooke continued his podium success by coming 3rd again in his distinctive Land Rover Defender. This has been a familiar favourite in this competition throughout the years. The heavy-looking vehicle belies its performance, which looks as nimble and light when racing as some of the smaller souped-up hatchbacks do. Although as strong as Ryan's car looks, he still wasn't immune to the punctures inflicted by this very rough terrain.
Overall, how were those last few runs for you?
They were challenging, but yeah, they were good. They've got a couple of punctures again today. Like I said, you know, this rally is all about keeping your line exactly right and avoid the punctures. You know, I managed to do it to a point, but obviously I did suffer the odd puncture. But all in all, fantastic day. Pleased with the result again, and had a brilliant day's racing.
She's a tough old girl, isn't she?
Yeah. She's old, we have to work hard to keep her maintained, but in all fairness, credit to my father. You know, without him I couldn't do it. Without my support from, you know, the likes of Land Rover Experience, John Hill's developments, you know, all of the sponsors on the car, you know, I wouldn't be here without them. However, you know, we do try really, really hard to get the results we get, and touch wood, they're paying off.
Ian Rochelle and Chris Hammond continued their assault on the top of the leaderboard in the Millington Phoenix, posting some extremely quick times throughout the weekend, but a problem on the last run of day one when he stalled on that tight hairpin and couldn't restart for almost 3 minutes meant that he posted the slowest time, which arguably cost him the win. That meant he took second position again overall. He's still one of the drivers in this competition to beat and will be fighting for first place next time.
So you're having a good weekend then?
Yeah, it's pretty fabulous. The scenery here and the track's exceptional. Having a great time out. Yeah, the track's brilliant. Good bit of competition amongst all the top drivers, and we're having a good crack.
So how's the car suited to these conditions?
Yeah, pretty good. It's quite nimble and quick to react, this car. So there's 1 or 2 little jumps out there that kick you up, and we're just managing to grab it back in time before it gets all out of hand.
All that means first place again going to Richard Kershaw in the Milner R5. Although he led by just over a minute, Richard was certainly convincing throughout the event, even finishing the last 2 runs with just 2-wheel drive. Kershaw, no doubt, is mounting an impressive start to the season and is certainly the man to beat at the moment in this competition.
Times up without breaking the car, so we're very lucky really to finish, but good result in the end.
So how much difference is it than just the 2-wheel drive run?
30-40 seconds a run, something like that. We were just very careful on the rough, because to get punchy with 2-wheel drive is very hard work, so it's been a good weekend.
Here's the results for the Clubmans: Chris Bird and Jonathan Bird taking it from Mark Hones and Stuart Wade in second position. Toby Jefferson and Wendy Hollenby in third. The Freelander Challenge won by Chris Ratter. Nick Lyons second. Selwyn Kendrick on the podium in third from Philip Gillespie. In the trophy, Paul Harris along with Claire Harris winning from Alan Thomas and Barry Marshall. Mark Jakes holding on to third position that he held on day one. And overall, Richard Kershaw taking the win from Ian Rochelle. Ryan Cooke in third place from Paul Myers and Mike Moran. And so we leave Epynt, and congratulations to the organisers for providing us with such an excellent course at such short notice. The weekend providing us with some of the most exciting racing so far, I'm sure you'll agree. Round 3 takes place at Forest Lodge in southern Scotland. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you there for more action from the Britpart MSA British Cross Country Championship.